folks, welcome to another Absolutely Outdoors. We're in Panama City. I about said Panama City Beach, but we're in Panama City at Sea School, and we're with CC Mulder, and CC and I are friends. We've been friends. We were just sitting here talking about our kids are getting old now. It's been a long time, hasn't it, CC?
Yes, sir.
But anyway, we did a show back a couple of weeks ago, and it was with Hunter Bowman, and Hunter is a hunter, and his life ambition was to be a guide. And so what he did is he found a school, a guide school in Wyoming. And he went to this guide school and got his license, and now he's living in Texas, but he did a show about hunting. And so now we can't short our fishing friends. We came to Sea School to tell you how you can get a captain's license and start guiding people, you know, out fishing. But anyway, CC, I'm going to talk to you a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about the school, and I think it's originally, not originally, but it's home office in St. Petersburg.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The home office is in St. Petersburg, Florida, and Sea School actually started back in 1977.
Okay.
So they've been around a long time.
It wasn't that long that we would.
No.
Tell them that.
I started at Sea School in 1996,
Okay.
so they can't get rid of me. And I really love Sea School, and it's we have a Coast Guard approved course, and it's a 56-hour course, and for what they call a six-pack. People call it the six-pack because you can take 6 paying passengers in an uninspected vessel, but the actual name of the license is Operator of Uninspected Passenger Vessel, which is initialed OUPV. So when somebody says OUPV, they mean six-pack or vice versa.
Right.
And that's for people who want to go up to 100 miles offshore, carrying up to 6 paying passengers in an uninspected vessel, usually under 40 feet uninspected. And
okay. You'll notice that a lot of these people, if you go to the marina, will say maximum of 6 fishermen, right. And that's what they're talking about. That's their license that they're talking about, is 6 paying customers.
Right.
Okay.
And they're limited to that. And then if they want to go further, they can do a 3-day upgrade, a 24-hour course to get a master's license. And master goes in 25, 50, 100 ton increments depending on experience.
Yes.
And for master goes in 25, 50, 100 ton increments. Most people think master's automatically 100 ton, but if all of your sea time is under 25 gross tons, they'll give you a 25 gross ton license. If you have 180 days over 25 gross tons or 360 over 17 gross tons, they will give you a 50 ton. But to get 100 ton, you need 180 days over 50 gross tons or 360 days over 37 gross tons. So that's, you know, so most people around here don't get 100 ton right away. They end up with a 50 ton or a 25 ton. Then you can upgrade it to 100 ton in increments,
okay.
Without going to class again.
Okay. Now, some people, where have you got to have the license? Now, I heard that any body of water that connects to the Gulf.
Right. Well,
is that right?
Truthfully, any time you take passengers for hire, you're supposed to have a captain's license for the safety of the passengers.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family. The first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Hey folks, welcome back. I'm with CC here at Sea School in Panama City, and I've got some more questions for her. Okay, Now, a lot of people don't realize where you have to have a license to take people for hire. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, they used to have what they call a guide license, and a guide license was for waters that were not connected to the Gulf. That is not the case anymore. Anytime you take passengers for hire, even in a lake, you will have to have captain's license, a U.S. Coast Guard captain's license, and that is for the safety of the passengers, to make sure you know what you're doing, because they have had a lot of accidents and people who don't understand.
I think
the rules.
Alabama kind of leads the way in accidents. I mean, I think that's right.
Really?
We have a lot of accidents in Alabama.
Well, you have a lot of water, you know, and the Great Lakes, if you have an OUPV, near coastal license, you are not eligible to be a guide in the Great Lakes, because though the Great Lakes is very, very different than just a regular lake. You know, so for a six-pack license captain, they need an endorsement for their license to be able to captain on the Great Lakes, and they need and to get that endorsement, they need at least 90 days of sea time on those waters.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. We've got a lot of guys that fish in Eufaula.
Yes, sir.
And they take people out for hire. Do they have to have a captain's license?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they do.
But that's what I told somebody.
Yes.
But it's not enforced up there.
Well, you know, that depends, you know, that's, the enforcement is
Right.
not, but legally.
Legally, they're supposed to have a license.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And what would you say, we're going to talk about the courses that, you know, the different areas that you go through, but what would you say is the main thing that Sea School focuses on? Would it be safety or knowledge of the road, of the rules? What would you say?
I would say it's all of that. The most difficult for a lot of people as far as testing, is the rules, because you have to know the difference between inland and international and things like that. But there is a lot of safety that's included, and that's very important, because when you take passengers for hire, you're responsible for those people, and you have to take that seriously.
Yeah, when I was driving down here, I was thinking about safety is really, I think back, and the rules, naturally, you got to know the rules, but you can kind of look those up.
Yes, sir.
If you have to. But the safety is really an important, like you're responsible for them.
Absolutely.
And so safety is a big thing. But, okay, what is the first step that a person would take in getting into Sea School?
Okay, well, the first step is they have to have been on a boat. For the OUPV or the six-pack, they need at least 360 days of sea time. And what that means...
Now, that could be on the river. You say
Yes,
sea
sir.
time. We're in Florida. You know, you're saying sea
correct.
time. You could be on the Chattahoochee River doing that.
Correct. That's
Okay.
any water, lakes, bays, rivers, intercoastal waterway, that's all included, the 360 days. If you want a near coastal license, which qualify you up to 100 miles offshore, you have to have at least 90 of the 360 days offshore.
Okay.
Okay, offshore means in the open water. Here in Panama City, it's past the demarcation line, which is along the shoreline. So what it means is anytime you pass the jetties, you're considered offshore.
Okay.
So you don't have to be, 12 miles out or anything for that to be considered offshore.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, like I say, a lot of people are surprised that they're supposed to have a license in Eufaula
Right.
and up and down the Chattahoochee River. Now,
understand.
what about in a lake that's not connected to the Gulf?
Like I said, in Florida, they used to have some guide licenses, but they're not offered anymore as far as I know.
Okay.
I mean, Sea School does not offer those licenses, and I don't think that they're available.
Okay.
As far as Coast
So
Guard.
what you're saying is if you're at Lake West Point and you're guiding, you don't have to have a license?
West Point.
Up above Columbus. You can't reach the Gulf from there.
Right. I know that they used to have licenses like that, but I don't believe that they're available anymore. I believe that the Coast Guard moved anybody who takes passengers for hire, whether they're in a lake or a river or anything like that, is required to have a Coast Guard license.
Okay. Okay. Now, you've got a Coast Guard license in your hand
Yes,
there.
sir.
You want to explain that to us?
Okay. Coast Guard licenses used to be like a diploma that they used to issue, but these are like passports. And they're a lot better to be able to carry around instead of having something paper. And when you look inside, it'll have your picture and your name and all of that, your address, things like that. And then when you flip it over, it'll have what your license, what you qualify for as a license. It'll have, you know, either OUPV or master. It'll also have any of the endorsements, like if you have a tow endorsement or a sail endorsement.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes it a lot nicer. I used to carry in the boat a big old briefcase with that diploma and all that.
Right,
And
I
this you can
remember
just put in your shirt pocket there and
Exactly.
just go. Okay, we're gonna take a little break, and in a few minutes we're gonna get CC to take us around and show us some of the school. Okay, we'll be right back.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, that can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Welcome back. We were with CC, and CC's going to show us a little bit about the school here. I'm going to step out of the way, and you kind of explain to them. Just
Okay.
show us the room and all.
Okay. Well, this is our classroom. We have 2 students per table. And since we're Coast Guard approved school, we have to have so many square foot per student and for the instructors. So we're regulated up to 20 people in this particular classroom. Okay. And over here is the classes that we do here in Panama City. We do, of course, the OUPV and the master. The tow, that's for sea tow, like if you're towing somebody. The sail endorsement, we do CPR first aid. And we also do the Marine Radar Operator Permit. And that is a test that we do here. And that's for anyone who has a master's license who's carrying more than 6 paying passengers. And over here this is reference to the rules of the road. And back here is our plotting table. A lot of people get uncomfortable when they're plotting. They have to lean over the table. So this is really nice so that they don't have to lean over. And we test here every Monday. Most people come to most of our classes end on Sunday, and they come to test on Monday, so they get it over with. And that's the best way to do it. We have a restroom here, but we also have another restroom for drug testing. We do drug testing here. You just come here and it's a urine sample, it's $80, and we send it off. It takes 3 or 4 days to get the results, and you have to have a drug test for a captain's license also. Also a physical. You also have to have a TWIC card. And a TWIC card is a Transportation Workers Identification Credential, and that's Homeland Security, and they do the FBI check for the Coast Guard to make sure you're not your terrorist cousin. You know. Okay. And also the other requirements are, besides the 360 days sea time, the physical, the drug test, the TWIC card, you also need CPR and first aid less than a year. We do that here once a month for your convenience. There's so much in the class. I mean, I know 54 hours sound like a long time, but you learn so much. You learn how to put out fires, you learn knot tying, rules of the road, I mean, safety, stability, just enormous amount of stuff. You know, it amazes me every Monday how people can remember all of the things that they've learned, you know. And plotting, you plot on chart, and you have to have parallel rulers and dividers, which most people have never seen before class, you know. But we have an excellent instructor. His name's Dana Grubbs, and he's a fabulous instructor, and he cares about everybody, and he no questions stupid.
And she just basically went over all of that information that you've got to learn, and it's really not that bad. I don't want her to scare you off. I passed it with your help. But you know, it's not that bad. If you want to operate a boat, this is the place to be, I'm telling you. One thing that she mentioned, but I want to just go ahead and mention, if you have a drug habit, there's no sense in coming.
That's right.
I mean, you know, you might as well just not waste your money. Don't even come, because they're going to drug test you, and they don't want somebody out there that's going to endanger their life and the passenger life and other lives. And so if you got that problem, you know, clean up before you come here.
That's right.
All right, but tell us about the online.
Okay, the online school is, you can take the OUPV or the 6-pack online, and also the Master up to 100 gross tons. And they are Coast Guard approved. The online school is $395 for the 6-pack, and the classroom is $580. So it's a substantial savings, but you really have to know what you're doing. We have some people who start the online class that end up coming to the class.
I think I'd have to come to class. I don't, you know, it was overwhelming.
Me too.
You know, really it was. I just said a while ago that it's not that bad, but
Right.
it's tough.
Right, and I think you really need an instructor.
I think you got to have an instructor.
But some people can do it. I'm computer illiterate, so it would be almost impossible for me. But
Yeah.
we have had people that do it successfully. So sometimes people just can't come to class. I mean, they have other things that are going on, or they're even out of state, or, you know, different situations for everybody.
Well, that's good that you do have an online. I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah, up to 100 times, but past that,
you
have
got to go to class. Yeah, okay.
Also, I wanted to mention that we have lots of C schools. We just opened a new one in Toledo, Ohio.
That was a question I was going to ask you.
Toledo, Ohio, yeah.
How many C schools do you have?
We have our St. Petersburg one is our headquarters, and then we have one in Fort Lauderdale and Jacksonville and Panama City. Those are the Florida ones. And then we have one in Bayou La Battery, Alabama, which is
Right.
near Mobile. We have one in Charleston, South Carolina. We have one in Long Island, New York, and one in Toledo, Ohio. So anywhere but the West Coast.
Yeah. What if you're in Destin? Destin is what? 50 miles?
Yeah, it's more than that. It's-
60 miles
yeah.
from Panama City?
Yeah.
And you wanted to come to C school. Tell us some of the locations.
Okay, well, we do have classes in Destin. We hold our Destin classes at the Pelican Beach Resort off of Highway 98. And Destin is actually one of our best locations. And Destin people come from Fort Walton, Niceville, Freeport, and all those kind of places. So we alternate Panama City and Destin. We also have classes in Apalachicola for the people who are on the East Coast,
Oh, I didn't know
eastern
that.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Crawfordville for the people from Tallahassee.
Oh, so you pretty well covered the Big Bend.
Exactly. So we try to offer everyone in this area an opportunity. So if you're living in Apalachicola or Crawfordville or Destin, and if you need our schedule, please just call me or go online at cschool.com.
Okay. So if you want a captain's license or need a captain's license, you need to come to C school.
Yes.
And it's easy to find them. You can look them up on the computer. It's just listed as C school.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so.
It's, in the yellow pages, it's under boat instruction. So.
Okay. But I don't think anybody looks at the yellow pages much anymore.
Not anymore. You can look it up on
Yeah,
your phone.
look it up on the phone, really, at C
Right.
school. Well, CC, we've enjoyed it today, and we really appreciate you coming,
Well, I
letting us
appreciate
come
you.
by. And it's just, it's something that I really enjoy. And I
Good.
really enjoy being out on the water, and anybody that's going to be on the water needs to take this class, even if they're not going to take anybody out.
Right.
They're going to learn so much.
Exactly.
They'll learn so much. You'll be riding along one day and you'll think, whoa, they told me about that in Sea School.
That's right.
And so if you be safe, to really be safe and know the rules, you need to come to class.
Yes, sir.
But so, anyway, as I said, I'm with CC today at Sea School in Panama City. If you want to get in touch with CC, just get in touch with me or look on the computer and or on your phone for Sea School. And she can fix you up with a license, and you'll be a happy boater.
Makes a great Christmas present.
It does. It'd make a great Christmas present. It really would. Okay, for CTV Channel 7, I'm Steve Abbott. This is CC Molna, and thanks for watching. See you next week.